thank you so much for the panelists for being here. I think we're going to have some fun conversation. So maybe we can just get started and jump in. There's a lot of companies here that are doing AI for a multitude of uses, but there's not so many in the pediatric space. So maybe, Julian, you recently received clearance for a pediatric use indication. Can you tell us a little bit about that and kind of what is the impact that these kinds of algorithms could have for patient populations as we move forward?
Sure, thank you for the question. I think it's a good question because the patient outcome when it comes to AI for pediatric are even more important than what we see for adults, and this is clearly a game changer in many ways. We see three things, and I can tell with you the example that we had making the clinical study to validate our product, our fracture detection product named Revolve for X-rays. We made a clinical studies on hundreds of thousands of X-rays in the whole country on more than 200 centers. So it was really a huge study representative of the whole US population. We saw three things. Number one, the turnaround time on positive cases for fracture were reduced by 83%. So before the pediatric patient has their results in hours or days, now it's in minutes. And for the negative cases, it's remained intact. So that's number one. Number two, the false negative rate was decreased by 50%. So obviously a huge increase in quality for the patient and a game changer for them. And number three, that's the link with number two, is that the prevalence for fracture was up by 2%. So by the way, for the outpatient centers, that's also a game changer because that means follow-up exams and a lot of things. So we see AI for pediatric as really now a huge need, and it's really the best way for us to enter this market and to show our value. It's really through this product because it brings a lot of value for customers and for patients.
And that's fantastic because I think the pediatric population is so underserved when it comes to AI algorithms. And maybe, Nick, a question for you is, your solution is a little bit different than some of these other solutions that we see. Where and how do you help connect patients, their outputs, and what is the work that you're doing that links us all together?
Yeah, thank you. At Scanslated, our mission is to empower patients through the radiology report, and I think that to be empowered, patients have to be informed, number one, but also they need to feel like they have the tools to engage in their care and actively participate in their care alongside their doctors. And in radiology, I think our report is probably the best way for us to do that, to engage patients. Fortunately, the patients are really primed for this. They're already reading their reports. Patients are already accessing their reports routinely online, and it's a part of the digital patient experience that they're already going through. And unfortunately, that experience is often lacking, primarily because radiology reports are written for doctors. These are highly technical reports. They contain a ton of complex medical terminology. And so instead of empowering the patient and making them feel more engaged, they often feel confused and anxious and, go into online search engines, really just kind of the opposite effect of what we're trying to achieve. And it's just not a great experience. And so, at Scanslated, that's what we are that's the problem that Scanslated is designed to solve. So, Scanslated is AI-powered software that allows the patient, just by clicking a link in the patient portal, to generate a patient-friendly version of their report. And so what they see when they open that report is an interactive version with plain language explanations and diagrams that are written by board-certified radiologists, kind of embedded throughout the report text. And it's different from just an AI summary in that what our approach is to really make this language accessible to the patient. Patients they want to see the original radiology report. They want to see the words that their doctors are going to be using, when they talk with them at follow-up. And so, our approach is to walk the patient through that report with explanations as if a radiologist were sitting down next to them in the room. And that's what we're seeing with Scanslated. We're partnered with some of the country's top hospitals, and the feedback from patients and from clinicians has been excellent. Patients report that they feel more prepared for follow-up visits. They feel more informed, and we're just seeing the type of engagement that that we all hope to see with our digital digital strategies. So, we've been real proud to see the response from patients and to help our partners to improve that digital patient experience.
That's fantastic, and I see and hear a lot of that in the clinics where they go, oh, I read this report, and now all of a sudden I'm panicked and I'm having anxiety, but it's really not bad news, right? Or vice versa. And I think interestingly though, the solutions that you guys are working on, Julian, with pediatrics and the way forward there, and then combining with kind of some of the explanation. Everybody here who has ever had to deal with a parent and the communication and the turnaround times, the chaos and stress induced. Interestingly, the work that you guys are doing are help empower patients solve that problem jointly with the work you're doing. So it's great, right? We all want to help patients and in pediatric populations, the parents get that information better and know what to do as next steps. So it's fantastic. Maybe any other thoughts of how we can move the AI space to help patients better? I think interestingly, I hear the work that you guys are doing is really maybe not necessarily radiologists, but thinking about the patient and the user is really important.
Yeah, I think we've seen a lot of action in the AI space for clinicians and with image processing and making the radiologist job easier and more efficient. And I think in the next year or so we'll see more of those AI solutions used for patients to try to walk that patient through the care journey, so to speak, and keep them engaged. Because really, patients I think today expect their digital experience in healthcare to be similar to what they're getting elsewhere in their lives, right? They're using their iPhone. There are all kinds of commercial applications outside of healthcare that patients are interacting with, and in healthcare, I think we need to meet that standard. So I think we'll see a lot more action in that space.
Yeah, that's an excellent point. People expect it to be their iPhone, but it's not that in healthcare. Sorry,
But it
Julian,
can
you
be.
wanted to add a comment?
Totally agree with what was said, and yeah, I agree. I mean, it also has to come through the patient empowerment and the fact that the patient needs to know about what AI is running on their images. So it also comes through the fact that patient can choose maybe AI in the future, and it's not only something between the doctor and the AI company, but the patient has to be at the center and can choose or not choose to run the images through an AI application or not, and for which reasons. So we see that coming more and more, and we really feel that would be part of the future of the business model that we see here in the AI space. It's not only about hospitals or healthcare provider and the AI, but most of all, it's about the patient. So we see that more and more.
Yeah, and it always warms my heart to feel the discussions where people are really considering the patient, right? It's just an important part. And our last panelist has joined us, Nedelcho. I'll let you introduce yourself quickly, and then maybe just a quick question around, I know you guys have a new solution that was recently FDA cleared that helps patients. Can maybe you tell us a little bit about that?
Okay. My full name is Nedelcho Georgiev, but you better call me Ned, N-E-D. I'm the CEO of CoLumbo, and our software is for analysis of lumbar spine MRI. And our current version supports some new features. In addition to the original features that I can briefly mention, herniation, central stenosis, bulging, hypohyperlordosis, reduced disc height, reduced vertebral body height, and listhesis. Now the current version, the new version, that get regulatory clearance a month ago, supports foraminal stenosis, recess stenosis, ligament hypertrophy, scoliosis, and fat infiltration muscle atrophy. So the value of these new features, of course, every radiologist have to report this, but if you're asking about the clinical significance, it's a good thing that we have a version for surgeons, so we know exactly what have a clinical significance in decisions about surgery. Are these, for example, the fat infiltration, something that is not every time reported, have significance on deciding the right upper instrumented level and lower instrumented level. So every time there is a fat infiltration more than 30%, there is more than 25% of screw loosening in complex spine surgery. So definitely it's important. The foraminal narrowing, the foraminal diameter is something that is not used for diagnostics, but it is used in order to evaluate the outcomes of a decompression, foraminal decompression before and after the surgery. They say, okay, 6 millimeter foraminal diameter is not have diagnostic value, but after the surgery, if it's still 6 or 7 millimeters, so this is not the right decompression of the foramen. Facet joint angles is also something important in surgery planning. If the angle is less than 30%, then usually the surgery leads to partial instability caused by the surgery itself. So in these cases, fusion is recommended instead of simple decompression. Also, it's very important that it's not just measuring the listhesis, the slippage of one vertebral body over the other, but to compare the supine listhesis with upright listhesis. If it's more than 3 millimeters, according to the NAS guidelines, it's instability, and according to the guidelines, if there is instability, there should be fusion. If it's just simple listhesis, it should be simple decompression. So these are mainly the most useful things from the point of view. If the referring physician is a surgeon, definitely something that is worth reporting. They will appreciate it.
Yeah, I can imagine that they would. Thank you so much. And I know we're at time, so thank you so much to the whole panel for your time and joining us today. And we look forward to seeing what you guys come up with next and how we help patients get better. Thanks.